and this article is called The 10 Most Beautiful Checkmates of All Time. How do you remember a game from 18 years ago? Because you guys, you almost never forget you almost never forget critical moments from games that you've played throughout your life. Plain and simple. All right, here we go. The 10 Most Beautiful Checkmates of All Time by National Master Samuel Copeland. Checkmate is the essence of chess. It ends the game, providing a satisfying closure to a long struggle. I wonder what happened. What about a long 6-hour draw though? I mean, that's not satisfying, I guess. At any rate, checkmates can also be incredibly beautiful. By definition, checkmate involves coordination and teamwork between your pieces. No single piece can ever deliver checkmate alone. Even the mighty queen must, at a minimum, have support from one other piece from its side, or possibly some traitorous opposing pieces that block their monarch's escape squares. The coordination of the supporting and opposing forces can create thousands of checkmating combinations. Some of that happens daily, and some that have yet to ever be played over the board. We've broken down our promised top 10 most beautiful checkmates in our video below. If you want, check it out now. Otherwise, scroll on for a full list here, as well as thoughts on what makes a checkmate particularly beautiful. Okay, 10 most beautiful checkmates ever played. Okay, we have this. What makes a checkmate beautiful? Certainly beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and there are some mates that may be particularly delightful to you and less so to others. That said, there are elements that we can identify that are often found in beautiful checkmates. Economy of force. Generally, the fewer pieces used to deliver the checkmate, the better. Checkmating your opponent when you have 3 extra queens is certainly a dominant checkmate, but it's not necessarily beautiful. Checkmate with a lone pawn, now that's beautiful. Okay, diversity of force. Using different types of pieces to deliver checkmates is often aesthetic. Who doesn't love to see a bishop and a knight working together to deliver both the check and the checkmate? Okay. Sacrifices. What precedes the checkmate is often just as important as the final checkmating position. Did the victor have to sacrifice the queen or perhaps all of the minor pieces to achieve checkmate? Incredible sacrifices doubtless make for beautiful checkmates. Okay. Multiple variations. Some checkmates are quite directly forced, and the defender has no choice but to submit to one specific checkmate. More beautiful are the cases where the defender has options available, but in all lines there is a unique checkmate at the end. Quiet moves. Most spectacular checkmates are delivered with forcing checks, but a quiet move that precedes the final checkmate can be remarkable, providing a breath of fresh air and a moment to enjoy the coming checkmate after a violent sequence. Okay. Very interesting way of wording all this stuff. Relatability. The best checkmates are accessible to all. Grandmasters will be struck by a unique and fresh pattern, but even beginning players can, with clear instruction, understand the checkmate and the moves leading to it. Chess is for all, and the best checkmates prove that. Rarity. Back-ranked checkmates, scholar mates, and especially smothered mates are excellent, and each can be beautiful, but they are also quite common. Most beautiful checkmates happen only occasionally, standing out as a once-in-a-million gems. Playing such a checkmate is a lifetime aspiration for a chess player. Okay. The following are 10 of the most beautiful checkmates ever played, as selected by the author with contributions from Chess.com's content team. Each meets multiple of the above criteria, and taken as a whole, these 10 represent a wide range of beautiful patterns. There is one other criterion I have added. All of these checkmates are from actual games. Composed positions often feature incredibly beautiful checkmates, and perhaps I should make a list of the most beautiful composed checkmates later, but for now I have stuck to checkmates played in games between 2 human chess players. Okay. Number 10, Don Isthorpe versus Mundell in 1892. We begin with the oldest checkmate on our list. Don Isthorpe's delightful checkmate is hardly the most complex we'll see, but its wonder is in how impossible the initial move seems, as well as the delightful pair of checkmates it leads to. We get a classic 3 knights here. Casual game from London, 1892, f5, d5. Okay. All normal, h3. And bishop d7, mistake, but it goes on. And this is actually beautiful. This is beautiful. Because after f takes e5, there's bishop g5 checkmate. If you take with the other pawn, d takes e5, then there's bishop c5 checkmate. This one is beautiful. I like this. This is probably a pretty worthy checkmate. I agree with this. Number 9, we have Neugebauer versus Degen Colby, 1956. In another pretty but not overly complex checkmate, Nuga Bauer must have shocked Degan Colby as he reverses a seemingly losing position with a Thunderbolt. This idea has been seen in a few games, but this is the earliest example I have seen. If you know a prior example, please share it in the comments. Okay, what is this? So it's a Sicilian. I'm just going to skip through the moves. Okay, pretty normal. You know what's wild, actually? You know what's actually really wild about this is that after bishop e3, bishop takes g4, I think h3, or maybe bishop b5. I've had this exact position. Maybe not exact. Maybe the tempos are a little bit different. But I think after bishop e3, bishop g4, h3, I have had that exact position, or maybe it's with the pawn in h7, in a tournament that I played in like I want to say it was 1997 or 98. It was against this player Oris Popovich. It was in Somerset, New Jersey, and I had a position extremely similar to this, very, very similar position. At any rate, let's keep going. Let's see what happens. Queen b3, bishop e6, queen b4, knight f5, rook c8, c3, and now rook d6 takes, check, and this is beautiful. Yeah, this is beautiful. Queen f8. This is a very, very beautiful line. I might have that game in my database actually on ChessBase. I'll have to check later, but this is a beautiful checkmate. So if you take with the rook, there is knight to e7, which is checkmate, and if you take with the king, there's rook h8. This is actually very beautiful. Very nice. Very, very nice. Very, very nice game. Okay, number 8, we have Lev Milman versus Joseph Fang, 2005 from Foxes. Now this is a game, you guys, that I've looked at this game. So I've looked at some of these lines before, so I've actually seen this game. And the only checkmate from the 21st century on this list, I am Lev Milman finds a dazzling and unique sequence to achieve checkmate that is hard to believe at first. Can the black king really have no escape here? This is a very nice game, actually. This is a very nice game, very theoretically important as well. So it's a game that I think a lot of people have looked at before. It's pretty normal. d5, knight f5, a take, bishop h6, absolutely beautiful. We get a repetition, and now you go queen g4, of course, bishop g7, queen d3, king a1, knight to e5, and now this beautiful move, knight to e7, because if you take the knight, I take your knight, and after king h7, queen g6, this is just pure brilliance. After takes, king g7, you have rook h7, and it's just checkmate. So very, very nice game. Number 7, we have Bauer versus Goldner, 1956. What is this? This is Bauer's masterpiece, has been published in countless checkmating anthologies, and with good reason. It's a pristine combination with multiple aesthetic lines leading to checkmate. Right, so it's rook h6, because if you take with the pawn, there's queen g8, of course, absolutely beautiful. You go queen g8 and then bishop f5 mate. If you take with the king, I think there's queen f5, queen g5, and queen h4 and f5. Yeah, you take, that's mate, and if king g6 here, you have pawn to f5, which is also checkmate. Number 6, Kasparian versus Manvilian, 1939. Genrik Kasparian may not have ascended to the heights of the competitive chess world, but his chess compositions are among the very best ever created. Here he created magic over the board with a violent combination that concludes with a resistant, crushing, quiet move. Now, speaking of Genrik Kasparian, by the way, you guys, I haven't alluded to this, but one of my favorite books is Kasparian's book. It's called 5001 Studies in Domination, I believe. Maybe I have the title off by a word or two, but that is one of my favorite books, and it was written by Genrik Kasparian, the Armenian composer and very strong chess player. So I just want to point that out. So in this position, there's rook takes c6, you take, you check, and then you take on c6, knight to e5, and then you go knight d3, king d4, king to d2, and c3 next move is simply checkmate. So this is a very beautiful one. Number 5, we have Vaccaroni versus Mazzocchi, 1899, some Italians. While findable in a position, Vaccaroni's combination, older than Donsthorpe by just 1 year, seems nearly impossible to find over the board. It strikes like lightning from a clear blue sky and converts seeming chaos into checkmate. Now this is very nice because queen g4 is just a beautiful, beautiful move. You get takes, rook h6, and then bishop f7. Absolutely beautiful game. Really, really nice. Number 4, we have Popov versus Nova Passion, 1979. This combination inspired GM Magnus Carlsen in the final tiebreak game of the 2016 World Championship. What more can be said? Yeah, this is a great one. Queen h6 here, because after you take with the let's just say you take with a pawn, there's rook b7, and then it's just a clean checkmate. After king h6, there is of course rook to h8, which is checkmate. So that's number 4, which I've seen before. Number 3 is Engels versus Cardoso. Our final 3 checkmates see the difficulty truly ramp up. Engels' checkmate deserves a place here in the top 3 because of the incredible array of variations and possible checkmates. It's amazing how many different checkmates emerge from the combinations, and all of them are beautiful, unique, and forced. Right, so this is queen h7 again, very similar to Lasker game. This is very similar to the Lasker game against it's the Lasker game out of the Staunton variation. I forget who Edward Lasker played against, but this is the exact same it's very similar. It's not the exact same, but very similar concept. With I think it's is it knight h7 check and then g3 h4. I forget exactly what it is. It's in the annotations here. Yeah, okay, I don't know, but yeah, this is a nice one. But it's very similar to Edward Lasker's one. Number 2, we have Edward Jung versus Cesabados, 1952. Subtlety is the order of our day in our number 2 checkmate. As Jung crafts a true zugzwang with a lone bishop battling a queen. If black needn't move, no win could be forced, but black must move, and even with a massive material advantage, every single move leads to checkmate. You take, and then you just play bishop c3. I have seen this one too as well, because the point here is that if black plays g4, you have bishop f6 checkmate, and when black goes queen f2, you can go bishop e5. If black doesn't have to move the queen, like if it's white's move, black is fine, but black has to move something here. And if you play g4, there's bishop f6 mate. If you go queen to e2, there's bishop g3 checkmate. And if you go queen to e1, for example, then there's g3, and takes is also checkmate. Very nice one. I have seen this as well. Number 1, we have Rosalimo versus No Name, 1944. Our number 1 most beautiful checkmate combines the complexity of Engels versus Cardoso with the subtlety of Jung versus Sabados. Rosalimo offers a stunning set of sacrifices to drag the black king into a net that is miraculously closed by white's own attacking king and a deadly quiet move by the rook. This one I've seen as well. Again, the moves are there, but I have seen this, which is rook f5 takes, and then you have queen to h6. And if black takes with a pawn, of course you go knight f6, king h8, rook g8 with the classic Arabian checkmate. If black goes king g8, still knight f6. And when black plays king takes h6, the main line, you check, and then you go king to f4. Beautiful move here because you have bishop h5. And after any move, let's just say queen e6, queen e6 actually allows rook h8, but let's just say you take, there's check, and then bishop f7. And after queen to e6, there's rook h8. Beautiful move. And bishop h5 is checkmate no matter what black does. Takes, bishop h5. All right, so this is also a very nice checkmate. All these checkmates, I don't know all of them by heart, but most of the ones near the top in particular, I've seen similar patterns. Like the top 4, I've actually seen this one too. Vaccaroni versus Mazzocchi. Kasparyan I've seen as well. I don't think I've seen the top. I haven't seen 10, 9, or 7. Those are the 3 that I have not seen. The rest I have seen though. So those are the top 10 most beautiful checkmates. There you have it. 10 incredible checkmates. What do you think of this list? Which amazing checkmates have been left off that you think desperately deserve inclusion? Leave your suggestions and comments below, and I hope that these checkmates have made your day just a little bit better. All right.